Michigan called Menards. No, I'm not advertising for them, but they have apple trees in full bloom. They're blossoming, and that means food this year. That was really cheap. It was on sale. And I've got a whole garden here and some car tools. I emptied my trunk. I am setting everything up here. I've got all kinds of really cheap priced plants. This is a mosquito plant, a citronella plant, which is really cool. And you rub it and smell it's citronella. That's really amazing. So that's going to be very helpful. You put it inside your doorway of the house or on the porch, and it keeps mosquitoes away. And you can rub it on your skin and keep mosquitoes away. And different things, mostly garden plants. But I've also got some lilac that I've uprooted from my mom's place. It's just growing by root and comes up from the root underground, and that's a pretty border plant. As you can see, it's makes perfect borders because it just runs along underground like that. I've got some of them, and there's another lilac, and I've got some raspberry that I just pulled right out of the ground over here. I don't know if it'll grow or not. I wasn't really careful, but I just literally pulled out the root stumps from the ground. So if it makes it good, if it doesn't, well, then I haven't really lost much. There's another lilac. I'm going to cut that into pieces and plant it, and it'll provide some nice border for me. So there was all very affordable plants. This is stevia, sweet leaf. I hope that grows, because I've had that before and I loved it. And I think it was $1. Yes, $1. Look at the size of that. You can't get that in New York for $1. This tomato plant right here. Look at the size of that for $1. You just can't do that. You can't. There's another one. I have it laying down so it doesn't break. $1 for a tomato. That's insane. So I've got an early bloomer and a meaty tomato plant. And good stuff. And then some little border things. These were just a couple dollars for these shrubs. So yeah, I'm clearing out my car and getting ready. All this stuff is going in there. I'll show you something else really nice. I won that off eBay. That's my tractor tire, and it was shipped to Michigan. Actually, I won it off eBay Michigan, and got it shipped here to my parents' house. So I'm going to put my plants in here. I've got cardboard boxes with trash bags around it, and I'm going to put my plants all in here in the trunk like this, and that's how I hope to get them home safely. So, pretty good. I love Michigan. It's so cheap here. Well, here's a mulberry tree I just uprooted, very conveniently enough, from a pot. That was it's a very nice root, and I got the whole thing out of here. You can see it compared to my hand. Very long root. I got the whole thing out in one piece, and that's going home with me. That, of course, was dropped by a bird, most likely, and fell conveniently in a pot for me at my mom and dad's place. And now I'm going to take it home. What I have is, it's going to be awkward one-handed, some wet newspapers. I'm going to wrap around the root ball with as much dirt as I can on there yet. And then that's going in the bag, and that'll get tied up around the root ball. And that's how it's going to go home for me. So I'll have some mulberries, absolutely free. One of my favorite foods. There I have the roots wrapped up in paper. It's a bit longer than I had hoped. So I'm probably going to have to try to fold it carefully in half and then put it into the bag so I can tie it up. And then take it home with me and transplant it back there. I love mulberries. Hope it works out well. And there he is, ready to take home. Wrapped up, ready to go. I'm going to look around in my parents' yard. They have a bunch of mulberry trees. There's various sizes. I'm going to take some smaller ones home since they're easier to transport like this. Here I've got some roses that I just simply, I dug the shovel down at an angle outwards like this from it, and then cut down and under and pulled up a nice chunk of root. There's not a lot of root hairs in this one, so I'm not sure about his survivability. Well, here I've got a couple more. I'm just going to get a bunch of them, and it's hit and miss if they live or not, but they're all free. I'm just digging up a bunch. These have been mowed off repeatedly. These were actually sticking up out of the lawn, so no harm done either way. And I've got them prepared already. I've got newspaper that's been soaking in the kitchen sink in water, and I'm just rolling it up as I go. I'll just cover it up to here with the paper, and then I'm going to put them all together in a plastic bag and close it up. And they should get home safe. As I said, I'm not sure about the root on that one, but if I keep it moist, it looks healthy enough, I think it'll survive. Here I have about a 9-foot, maybe 10-foot tall mulberry tree. I don't know if you can hear me because it's windy, very windy at my parents' place. And the roots were about this big round, and I smashed them all down with some newspaper and then wrapped it in some foam, and then that is going to go inside some more newspaper, and then that'll go inside a garbage bag, and I'm going to try to squeeze this tree inside my car. Take that home. That's a good fruit plant right there. That's a really good one. Nice long tree. That'll, if it takes well to the new home, should bear fruit. Won't this year, but it'll bear fruit next year then. This year it's got to resettle into the ground. So we'll see how it goes when I get home. Now that big bushy unruly tree is tamed. I've got it wrapped up with some twine. Gently I went round and round and round. I was thinking the way they do Christmas trees. Well, that's perfect. Ready to go in the car. Well, I've got both trees wrapped up in the car. What I've done is taken some jute twine and I wrapped up my mulberry tree as I showed you, and that sits in here nicely. And now I've got my apple tree as well. I decided to wrap it up a little bit to bind up its branches so the blossoms don't get knocked off while I'm traveling. Some of them are actually starting to open up since I bought them the other day, so that's pretty amazing. It's going to be a good tree, and if I get it home safely, I think it's going to bear a lot of fruit this year. Now, I have to check the age of this. I think it's a few years old, so it should be able to bear fruit safely. And I think my trees are going to be okay in the car. It's pretty cool. I've got the roots both covered. I covered the one pot of the apple tree in a bag, and I covered the pot, or the root ball of the mulberry tree. And yeah, they're both almost the same age as well here. Oops, get focused. There you go. They look to be about the same age, roughly. Mulberry will probably, like I said, bear fruit next year, but it's looking good. And doesn't take up much space in the car at all. There's my food and snacks for the road. That's it. I'm ready for the road back to New York. Looking good.